After returning from the hospital examination, I learned I had terminal lung cancer. The first thing I did was bring home the woman I had secretly loved for 8 years, my senior from school. A month passed. I found that aside from feeling a little weak, I hadn't felt any pain at all. Just then, the hospital called to say they had mixed up the examination reports. There was nothing wrong with me. In that instant, I panicked. Looking at the sleeping woman in my bed, I made a momentous decision. 3 years after going abroad, I returned home. After one team building event, my co-workers got me completely drunk. When I woke up, both my feet were bound by a chain I knew all too well. But this time, beside me lay 2 people, 1 adult and 1 child. Before I even had time to confess to her, I was going to die in a month. Thinking of that, on the way back, my tears wouldn't stop falling. The taxi driver knew I'd come from the hospital. He sensed something was wrong and likely guessed why. Before I got out, he suddenly said, "Young man, there's no obstacle you can't overcome. Living in the present is what matters most." When I got home, I looked around the empty villa. There was only me. Suddenly, I made a momentous decision. The driver was right. Live in the present, I took out my phone and ordered a silver chain. I only had 1 month left. I didn't want regrets. The delivery came quickly. By the time I finished eating, it had already arrived. Looking at the silver chain in my hand, I gathered my courage and opened WeChat, then tapped the pin chat. "Senior, I'm feeling a little unwell today. Could you come over and look after me for a while?" The instant I sent it, she replied. Within half an hour, she had rushed to my home. While I waited, I dissolved the sleeping pills I'd used to help me sleep in water. Then I sat on the sofa and waited. There came a knock at the door. After calming my racing emotions, I opened it. Before me stood a woman in professional business attire. Fine beads of sweat covered her forehead. Clearly, she had just gotten off work and rushed straight over. Seeing that, I suddenly felt a surge of guilt. But I quickly hardened my resolve. The moment she entered, her face was full of worry as she pulled me toward the sofa. "Junior, what's wrong? Where do you feel unwell? I'll take you to the hospital right now." Looking at the woman before me, so full of concern, my eyes couldn't help filling with tears. The woman before me, her name was Jiangcheng. She was 6 years older than me. When I was 14, after I was thrown out by my parents, Senior took me in out of kindness. She even paid for me to finish college. After graduation, I joined Senior's company as her assistant. With Senior's meticulous care over the years, she had become my whole world. Even the villa, where I now lived, had once belonged to Senior. But after I turned 18, Senior gave me the villa as a birthday gift. She said that if I ever got a girlfriend, she would not intrude on us. But ever since that winter, when Senior carried me out of the snow and brought me back to the villa, I could never love another woman. Now that I had terminal lung cancer, perhaps facing death had given me greater courage. "Junior, say something. Where exactly do you feel unwell? Don't scare me like this." When Jiangxue saw I remained silent, only staring quietly at her, her voice was full of anxiety. "Senior, have some water first. I'll explain everything." I took a breath and forced down my guilt, then forced a smile. Looking at the face across from me, more exquisite than any movie star's, I became even more certain of what I wanted. After all, in 1 month, I would be dead. I might as well take a chance. Jiangxue had rushed over from work, so she was indeed thirsty. She took the glass and drank the water laced with sleeping pills in a single gulp. Seeing the empty glass, I breathed a sigh of relief. Then my expression turned serious. "Senior, I love you. I've loved you since the day you took me in. Can we be together?" I felt I should give Senior a choice. I did not want to force her. I did not want her to hate me. But reality dealt me a brutal slap in the face. Jiangxi stared at my sudden confession. At first, she froze. When Jiangxue came to her senses, her face was filled with rage. "You're not sick at all. You lied to me." With that, Jiangxue grabbed her bag and without looking back, headed for the door. Seeing this, my gaze dimmed. Bitterness filled my heart. So I had been rejected after all. Just as Jiangxue reached the doorway, her vision went dark, and she began to fall backward. Fortunately, I had been prepared. I rushed forward and caught her. Looking at the sleeping woman in my arms, I could not suppress my excitement. I took out the chain I had just bought and fastened it around Senior's ankle. After that, I unlocked Senior's phone and found her chat with her secretary. "Secretary Jiang, I need to travel for work for a month. Do not contact me during that time. For now, leave the company. Under Junior's management, for any important documents, send me electronic copies first. I'll have Junior sign them for me." A reply came quickly. Understood. Seeing the reply, I smiled. Luckily, ever since graduation, I had been Senior's assistant at her company. Many people at the company knew about my relationship with Senior. If I signed documents for Senior, Secretary Jiang certainly wouldn't suspect a thing. After tidying up a little, most importantly, I took my painkillers. I was terrified of pain. Looking at the sleeping woman beside me, my heart wouldn't stop pounding. I had loved Senior for 8 years. In my heart, I had always thought of her as my Senior. Today, I could finally sleep in the same bed as her. By then, it was already 11 o'clock. I wrapped my arms around the woman beside me and slowly drifted to sleep. The next morning, Jiangxue slowly woke up. She had just opened her eyes and tried to rub her forehead, only to find herself held by a pair of strong arms. She looked up and saw, right before her, a familiar face. At the sight of the man before her, Jiangxue's face went pale, then filled with fury. With one kick, she sent the sleeping me tumbling out of bed. "Gu Fan, you, let me go. Do not ever appear in front of me again." Jiangxue had intended to get up and dress, but the icy sensation at her ankle startled her. When she saw the silvery white chain, she trembled with rage. Worse still, the floor was covered with her clothes, but she felt no discomfort in her body. That gave her a little relief. Looking at the person rubbing his head, who had just woken up, Jiangxue was furious. Just as she opened her mouth to curse, I grabbed both her hands and pinned her beneath me. I had been dreaming sweetly about Senior when her sudden kick woke me. The moment I came to, Senior's angry scolding rang in my ears. Though I had known since last night that Senior would curse me when she woke, it still hurt deeply. My gaze darkened. Things had already come this far. I couldn't back down. After all, I only had 1 month left. Even if I died, I'd get another chance in my next life. I suddenly raised my head, meeting Senior's eyes, but my gaze soon shifted downward. "Gu Fan, you." The tightly drawn curtains made the room especially dark. I had secretly loved Senior for 8 years. In this final month, I didn't want to be a coward anymore. When I woke again, I found Senior watching me, her face utterly expressionless. For a moment, my gaze became evasive. I quickly changed the subject. "Senior, you must be hungry. I'll make you something to eat." Jiangxue, when she wasn't angry, was the most terrifying. I hurriedly sat up and threw on some clothes before fleeing the bedroom. In the room, Jiangxue watched with conflicted eyes. As I walked away, her gaze fell to the clothes scattered across the floor. The tips of her ears turned faintly red. In the end, it became a helpless sigh. Jiangxue found one of my white shirts in the closet, then went into the bathroom to wash up. Fortunately, the chain I bought was long enough to let her move freely around the villa. Not long after, I carried a bowl of porridge into the bedroom. By then, Jiangxue had already finished bathing. She was wearing my shirt, but seeing Senior like that made me pause. Her long, silky black hair, still beaded with water, had dampened the collar of her shirt, clinging tightly to her skin. "If you want to keep going, I'll die in that bed." As if she noticed My breathing quickened. Jiangsu gave a cold snort. I smiled awkwardly and quickly lifted the porridge, bringing a spoonful to her lips. She merely glared at me, then opened her mouth and drank it. Seeing that senior didn't resist, I felt a surge of joy. I continued feeding her. After finishing the porridge, Jiangsu didn't mention what happened last night. Gu Fan, take this chain off me. There are still many documents at the company waiting for me to handle. Are you planning to keep me locked up like this forever? If I miss work for even one day, someone will report me missing. This is illegal. At Jiangsu's threat, I only smiled. No. You don't need to worry about the company. I've already arranged leave for you with Secretary Jiang. I will handle those documents for you. I took out Jiangsu's phone, opened her chat with Secretary Jiang, and showed her the messages. Then I put the phone away, not allowing her access to any communication devices. Jiangsu watched the man before her arrange everything so thoroughly. She glared at him furiously. She was absolutely furious. Had she known, she never would have given this bastard so much authority at the company. And now, she had fallen right into this man's trap. Early the next morning, I placed the meal I had made by the bed, looking at Senior's pale little face. A trace of regret rose in my heart. It was all my fault. Senior probably hates me now, thinking back to last night. It seemed Senior hadn't rejected me at all. A smile immediately spread across my face. It seemed Senior wasn't that repulsed by me after all. After tidying up the messy room, Jiangsu, in the bedroom, sat on the bed and watched as I hurried off to the company. Her eyes were full of mixed emotions. At the company, I had taken the day off yesterday. Today, it was time to get back to work. Over this month, I did everything possible not to leave Senior with any trouble at work. For the entire day, I buried myself in the CEO's office, reviewing documents. There were several important documents that I took home. That evening, in the bedroom, Jiangsu looked at the documents in her hands and laughed in anger. That brat last night had stamina like a bull. Even now, her whole body was still sore and aching. She had barely recovered a little. And that night, this guy was already making her work. The woman's smile made me feel a little uneasy. I shot her a fierce glare and threatened. What are you laughing at? Sign them now. Don't even think about touching your phone. Or tomorrow, I'll make sure you still can't get out of bed. She was clearly frightened by what I said. Her delicate body trembled slightly. She picked up a pen and began reviewing the documents. While she worked, I hurried downstairs to prepare dinner. This life continued for more than half a month. During that time, during the day, I worked at the company on Senior's behalf, handling the company's affairs. At night, I brought home important documents for Jiangsu to review. But after more than half a month together, I realized Senior had no intention of escaping. Every time I came home, I would see her sitting by the balcony, a book in hand, quietly passing the time. But the clothes she wore were always just that one oversized shirt. So for more than half a month, every night, I would wait for her to finish reviewing the documents, then eagerly kiss her. And she willingly returned my kisses. I cherished those days deeply, but I knew that in just a little over a week, I would die. Whenever I thought of that, my eyes filled with loneliness, but that loneliness quickly became the force that made me hold the person in my arms tightly. Still, I was grateful that, over these past weeks, I had kept taking painkillers and never felt any pain. At least before I died, I would not have to suffer. But the one thing that dissatisfied me was that my body grew weaker. With every passing day, I had also lost a noticeable amount of weight. That night, the two of us lay in bed. Jiangsu's face held both helplessness and irritation. How long are you planning to keep me locked up? I'll let you go in a week. Can't you rest for a few days? Your body probably cannot take it. Who says I can't? A man can never admit he can't perform. Besides, my weakness is entirely because of the lung cancer. This woman actually said I couldn't perform. Time flew by. There were only 3 days left before the 1-month deadline. Hello, is this Mr. Gu? Seeing the call from the hospital, I immediately assumed they were calling to persuade me to seek treatment again. But with only 3 days left, even treatment would be useless. You don't need to convince me anymore. I've given up treatment. Just as I was about to hang up, Mr. Gu, you've misunderstood. Our hospital has wronged you. Your examination report was mixed up with someone else's. You are in excellent health. The patient who shared your name passed away at 6 this morning. We are truly sorry. I did not take another word after that. My eyes went wide. Only one sentence echoed in my ears. You are in excellent health. I'm not sick. I don't have to die. Wait, no, I'm not sick. So, why is my whole body weak and sore? Why has my health deteriorated? Ignoring the work in front of me, I hurriedly rushed to the hospital. At that moment, I valued my health more than anything. Mr. Gu, based on your description, your physical weakness and declining health are caused by excessive sexual activity, combined with long-term, heavy use of painkillers. Go home and take more vitamins. Rest for a month, and you'll be fine. Again, I apologize to you. Because of our hospital's mistake, we caused you emotional distress. We are deeply sorry. I'm not sick. Standing outside the hospital again, unlike last time, my heart was overflowing with joy. But that joy was quickly replaced by fear. I'm not sick. Doesn't that mean that in 3 days, once I let Senior go, I'll have to go to prison? No. I'm still so young. My best years can't be wasted behind bars. What if I went back and apologized to Senior? No. Senior would never accept it. What if I told her the truth? That would not work either. Senior would surely think I made it up because I was afraid of going to prison. I kept racking my brain, wondering how, 3 days from now, I could earn Senior's forgiveness. Then the driver's horn snapped me back to reality. By sheer coincidence, the driver in front of me was the same one I had met last time. When the driver saw me, he clearly recognized me too. Kid, it's you. You look pretty well. I'm doing all right, sir. By the way, sir, can I ask you something? If someone has offended the wrong person, and that person will not forgive him, and he is afraid of going to prison, what should he do? Looking at the older man, I suddenly felt a flicker of hope. A month ago, this very man had shown me how things worked and helped me win Senior over. Now, I truly hoped he could give me more advice. Hey, that's easy. Go abroad. After 3 years, all these grudges, no matter how deep, will fade with time. And once you're overseas, our laws back home cannot touch you. Kid, the person you're talking about isn't you, is it? How could it be? Sir, I just came across a video where someone asked that question. I did not know how to answer it. Thanks for the advice, sir. The driver's suggestion gave me a brilliant idea. When I heard the last part of what he said, I hurriedly gave an awkward laugh and made up an excuse to brush it off. Goodbye, kid. Let me give you one piece of advice. No matter what happens, face it bravely. Do not do anything you'll regret. Outside the company building, I watched the taxi drive away, thrilled. I hurried into the office. I ran into Assistant Jiang on the way, but ignored him, because I suddenly remembered that a few days ago, the company had announced a 3-year overseas project that needed someone to lead it. No one had been selected yet. That project was practically tailor-made for me right now. What I did not know was that as I hurried away, Assistant Jiang behind me was staring intently at the bag from the hospital. In my hand, President Ji, has Assistant Gu recently been unwell? When are you coming back? For an entire month, President Ji had not replied to a single message. That left Assistant Jiang even more puzzled about what project President Ji had gone to negotiate. That could keep her so busy. Over the next 2 days, I took on the overseas project. I completed all the travel paperwork. I would be responsible for the project. Everyone in the company was stunned. Even Secretary Jiang was shocked, but I gave no further explanation. Tomorrow, once tonight was over, at 8 tomorrow morning, I would leave Jiangcheng. Then I would not have to go to prison. Gu Fan, when are you finally going to let me out? That question was the first thing she said whenever we met each day, every day. It was all I heard as the woman glared at me. I suddenly felt attached to these moments, even reluctant to leave. What are you? His overwhelming kisses left Anxue unable to catch her breath, as if sensing his emotions. Jiangxu stayed silent, quietly going along with him. At 6 that morning, I quickly got up and washed up. I packed up some daily necessities, made breakfast, and put it into the warmer. I turned on her phone and placed it beside her pillow. Then I unlocked the chain that had held her captive for a month. The chain had already left red marks around her ankle. I stroked the woman's ankle for a long while, then gently kissed her forehead. After leaving a note, I took a taxi to the airport. After boarding at 8, I could no longer hold on and fell into a deep sleep. The flight was 11 hours long. Enough time to make up for last night's exhaustion. At 3 in the afternoon, in the villa bedroom, Jiangxu was awakened by the sudden ringing of her phone. President Ji, Assistant Gu said you would return to the company today. When will you be here? Still groggy, Jiangxu replied hoarsely. Wait. The instant she said it, Jiangxu regretted it. Her face instantly flushed red, and she hurriedly hung up. Though she did not know why that little bastard had returned her phone. She had no time to think about it. She got out of bed, but her legs instantly gave out and she collapsed to the floor. Then she spotted the note on the table. Senior, I'm leaving. I do not want to go to prison. I still have my whole life ahead of me. Could you please not press charges? Staring at the note in her hand, Jiangxu felt completely crushed. Just then, all the messages that had piled up over the past month began flooding in. In the bathroom, Jiangxu soaked in the bathtub, scrolling through the past month's messages. When she saw the messages Secretary Jiang had sent her, her pupils suddenly constricted. They said that at 8 this morning, I had left the country for 3 years. She laughed. But as she laughed, her expression turned icy in an instant. She hurled her phone at the wall, smashing it to pieces. A glistening tear fell from her eyes into the bathtub, sending ripples across the water. Gu Fan, you've got some nerve. You take what you want, then toss it aside when you no longer do. You'd better stay abroad and never come back. Everything that happened in the bathroom was unknown to me. I was still on the plane, sleeping soundly. I never once thought about how, when I returned 3 years later, I would face Anxue's fury. 3 years later, 4 in the afternoon, Jiangcheng Airport. Fan. Just then, a man beside a Ferrari not far away waved at me. When I saw who it was, I also broke into a knowing smile. It was none other than my best friend, Subai. Fan, you left without a word and ran off abroad. There's a reception tonight. Let's have a proper drink. In the car, as Subai drove and kept telling me about everything that had happened over the past 3 years, I simply listened in silence. But the person I thought about most was still Senior. 3 years had passed. Senior surely didn't hate me anymore, right? If she still hated me, I'd have no choice but to resign. Honestly, I really wouldn't want to. Fan, did you hear me? Yeah, since we were short on time, my luggage was taken straight to Subai's place. Fan, you have no idea how formidable your senior has become since you left 3 years ago. Every rival who competed with your senior was driven into bankruptcy by her. Now, your senior could be called the untouchable power in all of Jiangcheng. No one dares cross her. I saw Your senior last month. One look from her nearly made my legs buckle. On the sofa, I listened as Subai carried on, and paused in surprise. Senior had become that powerful? Seeing all that Senior had achieved, I was truly happy for her. At 8 that night, I casually grabbed one of Subai's suits, put it on, and followed Subai to the reception. As for why we did not simply go drinking at a bar, my friend only said that this reception would have an important guest, and he wanted me to introduce him. I found that ridiculous. I've been away from Jiangcheng for 3 years. What important person could I possibly know? Since the important guest would not arrive until 9, Subai and I stayed hidden in a corner, drinking nonstop. After I used the restroom, as I washed my hands, a figure appeared behind me. The man wore a reddish-brown suit. He bore some resemblance to me, and was watching me with a smile. When I saw who it was, my eyes instantly turned cold. He was my older half-brother, sharing the same father, but not mother. Guhan. I was thrown out of the family back then, because of his schemes. But today was my first day back home. I only wanted to celebrate properly, with my friend, not cause trouble. Just as I took a few steps toward the exit, Gu Fan, you came to this reception today. Do not tell me you came specifically to watch me confess to Anxue. What do you mean? Hearing Guhan address Senior so intimately, my eyes widened. I fixed him with a hard stare. Heh. You still do not know, do you? After you went abroad, Anxue often took me with her to all sorts of events. Even major projects at Anxue's company were handed over to the Gu family. Tonight, I am going to be with Anxue. I should thank you for leaving the country. Those 3 years gave me the chance to get close to Anxue. His words cut deeply into me. I clenched my fist. Only one sentence echoed in my ears. Tonight, Guhan would be with my senior. My heart hurt so badly. Did Senior really still hate me? She knew I hated Guhan, yet she still wanted to be with him. Ignoring the man beside me and his mocking taunts, I returned to the table, lowered my gaze, and downed my drink. Now I understood that the important guest Subai had mentioned was Senior. But no matter what, I could not feel happy. The first time I saw Senior after returning home, I had to watch Guhan confess to her. Thinking that Senior would soon be with Guhan filled me with rage. Subai beside me noticed something was wrong. Watching me drink nonstop, he wanted to say something. But when he met my despondent eyes, he slowly fell silent and drank with me instead. An hour later, Subai and I were already dead drunk. Just then, the once noisy reception fell silent. A woman in a red dress appeared at the center of the ballroom. Her gaze swept across the room, then suddenly landed on the corner, where I lay drunk across the table. Her eyes darkened slightly, just as she was about to walk over to me. A figure suddenly stepped in front of her, before everyone's eyes. Anxue, I like you. Will you be with me? The reception lights shone down on the two of them. No one was the least bit surprised. Some had even begun chanting, "Say yes." Those cries woke me up. Watching the two beneath the lights, my heart felt torn apart. I wanted desperately to rush over and stop them. But what right did I have? I looked at the liquor on the table, picked it up and kept drinking. But this time, the liquor tasted unbearably bitter. Under the lights, Guhan saw me and suddenly looked up. He sneered inwardly, then gazed tenderly once more at Anxue. Anxue, will you be with me? Slap. The sharp sound of a slap rang through the entire reception. Everyone was baffled and fell silent. On stage, Guhan stared in utter disbelief at the woman before him. He did not understand what he had done wrong. Did she not like him? Why had she slapped him? Secretary Jiang, terminate every partnership with the Gu Group and cut off business with the companies of everyone who was heckling just now. After saying that, she gave the surrounding company chairman no chance to plead. Then, expressionless, walked toward me. But I did not notice any of that. Only one thought kept echoing in my mind. Senior had accepted Guhan and agreed to be with him. The glass in my hand had just reached my lips when a delicate hand suddenly snatched it away. Seeing my drink taken from me, I flared up at once. But when I looked up and met the woman's dark expression, my anger vanished instantly. My eyes darted everywhere, too afraid to meet hers. You just got back, and instead of coming to see me, you drank this much. Gu Fan, you are unbelievable. Why do you care about me? We have nothing to do with each other. You already agreed to be with Gu Han. Why do you care what I do? I was already completely drunk. My mind was still stuck on the moment she accepted Gu Han's confession. I had not noticed at all that Jiangxue had rejected him. Seeing her come over to fuss over me, I felt deeply wronged. I grabbed the glass back from her and raised it to my lips again. Seeing how jealous the first was, most of Jiangxue's anger instantly faded. Secretary Jiang, have someone take the young master of the Su family home. A sudden weightless sensation hit me. Jiangxue simply swept me up in a bridal carry. The drink in my hand spilled all over the woman's chest, soaking her clothes. But she acted as though she had not even noticed and headed for the door. Only then did everyone realize who President Ji really liked. Quite a few people shot Guhan. Mocking looks. Those who had egged him on regretted it bitterly, but under the circumstances, no one dared step forward to stop her. Inside the hotel's presidential suite, she carried my unconscious body straight into the bathroom to clean me up. Looking at the man she had not seen in 3 years, Jiangxue felt both angry and helpless. Jiangxue dried her hair on the bed. At that moment, I also woke up groggily. Seeing the woman beside me, I angrily pushed her away. This woman already had Guhan. Why was she still coming to see me? Go away. Why are you looking for me? Who else would I look for? You drank so much. Did I not tell you not to drink? Jiangxue's gaze darkened, as if she could swallow me whole. This brat actually dared push her away. Fine. He slept with her then. Wanted to avoid responsibility? I am not your boyfriend. Go find your boyfriend. Hearing that, Jiangxue smiled. He liked her, yet never confessed. He slept with her for a month, then ran off abroad. She had not even settled the score with him yet, and now he was blaming her instead. Get off me. I tried to push her away, but her face suddenly darkened. She pinned me beneath her and silenced me with her lips. Meanwhile, at another hotel, in its presidential suite, my friend Subai was being relentlessly seduced by a woman. Before long, Subai succumbed to her charms. Early the next morning, my alarm woke me up, feeling sore all over. I knew that last night, someone had slept with me. So last night had not been a dream. I saw a set of clothes on the table. The clothes clearly bore Senior's unmistakable handwriting. Seeing it, I suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, secretly grateful that no one else had slept with me. But I quickly got dressed. I had to report to the company today. Still, after last night, I knew Senior no longer hated me. In high spirits, I hailed a cab. In my WeChat block list, I unblocked the person I had kept blocked for 3 years. But soon, a message from my friend left me stunned. Fan, you have to help me. Last night, your Senior's Secretary Jiang slept with me. She even recorded a video. She said if I did not take responsibility for her, she would send me to prison. Fan, you have to save me. Seeing Subai's message, my mouth twitched, but I was even more shocked that Secretary Jiang actually liked Subai. But there was nothing I could do about that. Well, Xiaobai, maybe you should just give in to Secretary Jiang. Secretary Jiang obviously likes you. If you refuse to take responsibility, you could very well end up in prison. Even your family's company could be implicated too. Besides, Secretary Jiang is quite beautiful. You would not lose out by being with her. After quite a while, when I reached the company building, Subai finally replied, I understand, Fan. Seeing his message, I was in a better mood. Not bad. I had done a good deed. Today, there would definitely be something good in store. Feeling cheerful, I headed for the CEO's office. Along the way, all my co-workers saw that I was back and greeted me. I greeted each of them in return. The moment I left the elevator, I saw Secretary Jiang walking toward me. When she saw me, a trace of pity flashed in her eyes. I was completely baffled, but then I thought of Subai. Secretary Jiang, you are not really going to send Subai to prison, are you? At my unexpected question, Secretary Jiang froze on the spot. Once she understood, her face reddened. She hurried into the elevator. Come in. Senior, we are at work. About that overseas project. Give me your report. The moment I spoke, I met those icy eyes. I froze in fright. Hurry up? Huh. Oh, right? Her expression was cold, which made me deeply uneasy. I quickly gave her the details of the overseas project. After leaving the office, I was still shaken. She had been so gentle last night. Why had she turned so cold today? At least she had not mentioned what happened 3 years ago. For the next few days, I stayed at Subai's home. Secretary Jiang told me that my villa had already been taken over by Senior. Thinking of how Senior had looked in the office that day, so cold and distant, I did not dare go back at all. I feared she would punish me if I did. But what was coming could not be avoided. One day, the company held a team-building event. At the bar, the company's senior executives kept toasting me. The whole time, the way they looked at me was filled with sympathy. It left me confused until they got me so drunk I passed out. The door opened. When they saw who had arrived, the executives quickly withdrew from the room. Jiangcheng looked at me on the sofa, fast asleep. The corners of her lips curled upward. That night, I had a dream. In it, Senior and I were married, and we had a daughter. The three of us lived happily together as a family. At dawn, feeling a weight on my chest, I slowly opened my eyes. The first thing I saw was a miniature Jiangcheng. She was staring at me with her big, round eyes. When she saw I was awake, the little girl's eyes lit up. She happily threw her arms around my neck. Daddy, looking around, I saw, lying on her side beside me, a smiling woman watching me, Jiangcheng. In an instant, I was stunned. How had I suddenly become a father? Was this my daughter with Senior? Had my dream come true? Countless questions swirled through my mind. After a long while, I looked at the woman beside me, still smiling, and asked in a trembling voice, Is she my daughter? What do you think? You were so wild that night. Not long after, I got pregnant. If you do not want her, I can have Guhan take your place. No. Before Jiangcheng could finish, I glared furiously at the woman before me. But when I met her gaze, I quickly gave in. Senior, I am sorry. I wanted to explain what happened 3 years ago to Senior. But she clearly already knew. Her smile vanished, replaced by a cold sneer. Sweetheart, go play with Annie Jiang for now. Daddy does not want us anymore. Mommy needs to teach him a lesson. Okay, go, Mommy. Teach Daddy a lesson. On me, the little girl quickly climbed off the bed. Before leaving, she did not forget to close the door behind her. Looking at the sneering woman on top of me, I tried to speak, but she quickly cut me off. Junior, you abandoned my daughter and me, and went abroad for 3 years. Did you enjoy yourself? 3 years ago, you locked me up for a month. Starting today, you will stay in this room for a full year. Otherwise, my daughter and I will leave with Guhan. The instant she finished speaking, a flood of kisses sealed my lips. I tried to struggle, only to find that my ankle had long been chained up by her with a metal chain. I knew the material of that chain better than anyone. It was clearly the chain I had bought 3 years ago to punish her. I did not dare resist, nor did I dare complain. I would never allow my woman and daughter to call Guhan husband and father. My woman and daughter were mine. I deserved all of this. What goes around comes around. Now, I regretted only one thing. I regretted listening to that taxi driver's advice. Otherwise, I would have to spend the next year in bed. Yet at the same time, I was grateful to that taxi driver. Without his advice, perhaps I would never have found the courage to lock Senior up, and I would never have had such an adorable daughter. No one can predict what the future holds, but live in the present and do what you want to do. You will surely get what you desire. 1 year later, this was my first time since returning home. In fact, my first time ever setting foot in an amusement park, but this time at my side. I had two people, one grown and one little, keeping me company. On the Ferris wheel, she suddenly leaned close and whispered in my ear, "Honey, Yanyan says she wants a little brother tonight." I instantly shuddered. My legs went weak on their own. But in that moment, what filled my heart was joy. I never thought the woman I had longed for would still be willing to have another child with me. As for me, I only felt that I was a terrible man. I had tormented my wife for a month, then gone abroad for 3 years. My wife had raised our daughter all by herself, and what about me? I had spent 3 carefree years overseas. When I came home, my wife only locked me up for 3 days, then married me. At that moment, deep down, I silently swore that for the rest of my life, I would never abandon this mother and daughter. By then, the Ferris wheel had risen to its highest point. Looking at the woman before me, whose eyes were full of nothing but me, I took a deep breath. Before my astonished wife and daughter, their eyes wide with shock, I slowly dropped to one knee. Then I took out the ring I had prepared in advance. I had never forgotten that I still owed the woman before me a proper confession. With our daughter as witness, for the woman I had loved for 12 years, I placed that ring on her finger. That evening, I suddenly felt like taking a taxi. Looking at my car keys, I decided to pick up the car tomorrow. Inside the taxi, as I happily played with my daughter, I suddenly heard the driver's voice from the front. That familiar voice made my heart jolt. "Young man, it really is you. 3 years since we last met, and now you even have a daughter." "Yes, sir. I have you to thank for that. Let me treat you to a meal someday." "Oh, no need. You and President G are a perfect match." How does he know Anxue? A chill ran through me. I looked at the driver in front, then at the woman beside me, who since getting in, had not said a word. I felt as if I had fallen into an enormous trap. "Dad, one day, we will bring my husband home to see you and Mom." "All right," the woman beside me spoke. And in an instant, I understood everything. It turned out my wife had from the very beginning liked me. No wonder, after I slept with her back then, she did not get angry and even went along with me. The greatest hunters are often the ones who hide deepest